It's the end of 2024, and if you don't have a two-handed backhand, you're gonna fall behind in 2025. Pretty much every pro pickleball player, whether they're male or female, is using a two-handed backhand at some time in their game. In this video, I'm gonna break down why a two-handed backhand is important, how to hit a two-handed backhand, and most importantly, when to use a two-handed backhand. So additional power. A lot of us come from a tennis background, but even if you don't, a lot of times adding the second hand on our paddle helps us to generate a little bit more pop. Moving our arm this way and forward, as opposed to moving it here on a one-handed backhand, does generally let most people, with some exceptions, generate a little bit more pop. Oh my God, I'm Roger Federer. I'm like Walmart Roger Federer of pickleball. When the ball gets up high, a lot of people are pretty weak in this position using just one hand. So adding that second hand really helps the stability, especially when you get up and over your shoulder. Oh no, I'm so weak and frail. Wow, that felt so manly and powerful. Another advantage of a two-handed backhand that not a lot of people talk about is actually our contact point. Our contact point on a two-handed backhand is a little bit closer to our body. When I'm hitting a one-hander, I generally need to keep that ball nice and out in front of me, but when I'm using a two-hander, my contact point comes back pretty decently to nearer to my body, which when we're dinking, gives us a little bit of extra time. Would have been sick. The last reason why a two-handed backhand is important is because it does give you really good deception ability. This left hand is super important for making last-minute adjustments to your paddle angle, which can really deceive your opponents. Come on! Yeah! So the beauty of this two-handed backhand dink is you don't know whether I'm going to just hit another dink or I'm going to hit a speed up. And with this left hand, I can control exactly the location that I'm going just with the last minute change of angle here. So now that you know why a two-handed backhand is important, I'm going to show you how to hit that two-handed backhand. The vast majority of people hold a continental grip with their right hand, and then they simply place their left hand above it as close to the other fingers as they can. Some people will wrap their entire fingers around the grip. Other people will put a couple of fingers on the back of the paddle face. Occasionally you do get some people who, rather than using the continental grip, will actually shift it over towards what we called an Eastern backhand grip. And I did a whole different video on the different grips that pros use and the different situations and whatnot. That is a possibility. What this does is it closes the paddle face up and allows you to generate a little bit more topspin. But I would say the most common grip for that two-handed backhand is the continental grip here, where you just add your second hand. One of the most important parts of this two-handed backhand is going to be our preparation. Back at the baseline, I'm going to close my stance and really try and focus on getting rotational power here. I'm not taking a big swing with my arms, but rather rotating with my core. After we've coiled, we want to make sure that we're transferring our weight into that ball. Our contact point is going to be out in front near our front leg, and we want to make sure that we're transferring our weight through this shot. So if you do this correctly, your back leg should come through just like that when you're hitting ground strokes from the baseline. If we're up at the kitchen, we can't always move our feet the exact same way, but the same concepts apply. We want our contact point out in front, we want good rotation through the core, and we want to make sure that we're transferring our weight even if we're not actually moving our feet. Woo! To work on the fundamentals of this two-handed backhand, what we're going to do is start with the paddle in our dominant hand. Let's place our hand as if we're about to hit a two-handed backhand. And now we're going to take our dominant hand off. So the paddle is completely in our non-dominant hand, and we're going to start by just dinking here. I'm going to keep my... Come on, Johnny, I'm trying to film a YouTube video here, bro. I'm going to keep my dominant hand moving with my non-dominant hand, because obviously in a two-handed backhand, they would be flowing together. So keep this hand nearby, but off the paddle. Oh, Johnny gave up on the drill already. Johnny, we'll work on this one later, dude. Oh, no. There's hope, guys. There's hope. Obviously, we can do this straight ahead. We can also do this cross court. As we get accustomed to it, we can work on any of the different shots. You know who's really good lefty is Ben and Colin. We did a whole pros versus 5-0s where they played 2 5-0s and they almost won playing left-handed. So go check that video out afterwards. So now we know why a two-handed backhand is important, how to hit a two-handed backhand, but when do we hit a two-handed backhand? A two-handed backhand is super important for drives from the baseline or topspin drops from the baseline as well. And you guys know that I love my spin. So if you want the spinniest paddle on the market, check out the link in the description and use ZNP subscriber at checkout to get 10% off and free shipping from your order. Another important time to hit two-handed backhands is countering when you're in the transition zone. You can use that extra power that you get from two hands in the transition zone to punish bad attacks. In hands battles, it's super important when the ball is far away from you or if the ball is up high like we discussed to get additional stability. Two-handed backhands are also great for aggressive dinks and speed-ups. If your dink looks exactly the same as your speed-up, you're gonna fool a lot of people with those attacks. So we focused on the pros of a two-handed backhand, and you absolutely have to have a two-handed backhand, but there are also certain cons. So the best pickleball player of 2025 and beyond is going to use a combination of two-handed and one-handed backhands. If you have any questions on this video, feel free to reach out via Cameo. For the month of December, I'm giving all of my Cameo earnings to Stop Alzheimer's now, and it's only $5 to ask a question. So check out the link in the description to book your Cameo with all proceeds going to charity. And if you still need help on your forehand, check out this video. If I can hit forehands like this at 140 pounds soaking wet, you can learn to improve your forehand power as well.